Despite the never-say-die optimism and smiles around the ballpark, for nearly a week, the Phillies have been looking for their much-needed swings for a chance to plate some runs. The next stretch doesn't get any easier, with the bat that haunts the Phils stopping by for an extended 4-game stay. It has been a week since the Phillies celebrated a victory. Tonight, they're hoping to dance their way to a victory against the Milwaukee Brewers. It's Greek Heritage Night here at Citizens Bank Park. The Brewers are in town, and the Phils are trying to get back to the 500 mark. Where else are they trying to get? Well, take a look at this quote that Pete Mackanin had after last night's game. We know where we need to go. We know we're not there. We'd like to be where the Cubs are with their young players. I think there's a lot of teams that feel that way. Well, the Phillies continue to overhaul their roster. Cody Asche has been activated from the disabled list after that strained oblique. David Lowe has been designated for assignment. He made some great plays last night out in right field. Mario Hollins has also been activated. He has been optioned to Lehigh Valley to get some more innings in before he comes back up to the big leagues. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Ben Davis. All right, so we've heard Pete talk about that since the Cubs series, that he would like his team to eventually get to where the Cubs are right now. They have some bona fide young stars that are coming through their system.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said a lot of teams feel that way. Yes, it would be nice to have those rising stars and solidified bona fide stars that the Cubs have. They're an excellent ball club. We know that. But can the Phillies get there in the next couple of years? That's yet to be seen.
We'll see if Cody Asche does help the Phils. Asche, who did not hit for an average while going through his rehab, is back with the ball club, and hopefully, as he said, there's no silver platter for me. I know I have to earn my stripes and I have to earn my playing time, which is exactly what Pete Mackanin said before the ball game today.
And I think he will help this lineup out. You know, he's a proven hitter in the fact that he'll see some pitches. He knows his approach, and he doesn't stray away from that approach. I think that's one thing that some of these hitters are doing a little bit too much, is getting away from what they do well.
All right, speaking of doing things well, Ryan Braun really hits the Phillies well. I don't know how you stop this guy, or Jonathan Lucroy for that matter.
He's amazing. The bottom line is he can hit line to line. He can take you out line to line. Doubles, triples, homers, mixing a few singles. The guy is a Philly killer. We talk about it all the time, this guy, that guy, but he is a solidified Philly killer. He's very good, and he likes the ball up. He gets on top and drives it out of the park.
Hitting over 400 in this ballpark alone. That's what he did the last time these two teams faced each other. How about 20 home runs against a team that's not even in your division?
And that's hard to believe. You look at his numbers. Yes, he has 27 against the Astros. I'm sorry, but they're in their division. You would never expect it to be against the fighting Phils. They have to keep him in check tonight, and also the guy hitting behind him in Jonathan Lucroy.
Yeah, the Astros are happy that they're now in the American League and they don't have to worry about dealing with Ryan Braun on a yearly basis. Chase Anderson makes his 11th start for the Brewers. Eickhoff his 11th for the Phils. We'll be back with lineups and first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. For great summer deals, visit your local Toyota dealer or buyatoyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn Take a look at the Brewers lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Jonathan Villar leads it off at shortstop. Scooter Gennett bats second. Ryan Braun will hit third, followed by Lucroy and Chris Carter. Kirk Neuenhuis is in center. He'll hit sixth. The bottom third of Hill, Flores, and Anderson. And they'll face Phillies right-hander Jerad Eickhoff, 2-7 on the year. He is ready to go. Trying to pick up a victory here at his 11th start of the season. He has a league-leading 7 losses, which is kind of surprising. His last few games have been better. First pitch of the night is a fastball in there. We're underway.
He's getting command. 4-pitch pitcher. He'll sit right about 91, but you do see the opposition batting average on that heater, 370. So definitely something he needs to remedy.
Talking to Cameron Rupp today, he said that they went over the scouting report from the last time that Eickhoff faced the Brewers, and in that game he went 5 1/3, allowed 9 hits and 7 strikeouts, as that one is misdirected toward Blanco, who barehands and throws. One away.
Very surprised he went with the bare hand, but I'm kind of glad he did. Villar got down the line. If Andres plays that with his glove, Villar may have a chance to beat it out.
Well, Pete Mackanin said Andres is in there tonight along with some other guys because they need offense, so he just showed a little defense right there.
I don't think the ball would have gotten up the middle, but the deflection did work by Eickhoff.
May have been a tougher play even for Blanco to backhand it and throw Villar out because he runs so well. Scooter Gennett is now the batter. Gennett 2 for 12 in the most recent series for the Brewers. Overall hitting .223 with 4 home runs and 7 runs batted in. He has also hit well against the Phillies during his career. Slider that misses 1-1. Not a bad pitch. And that pitch is one of the key pitches tonight. Just talking to Cam about the scouting report. He said the last time they faced the Brewers, Eickhoff, who allowed 1 hit through the first 3 innings, then started getting hit around. And they relied a lot on the fastball and curveball that night. So much like his last outing against the Cubs, they're going to try to mix in his pitches and show the Brewers everything.
It is key for him to throw all 4.
Little tapper back to the mound. 2 outs. All right, Ben, time now for the Nissan keys to tonight's ball game.
We touched on it a bit in the open, but don't let 3-4 beat you. Ryan Braun and Jonathan Lucroy have been a thorn in the Phillies side for years, and you can't let those 2 guys beat you. And offense, know your strengths in the batter's box. You know what makes you a good hitter at the big league level and try and stick with them. Don't try and go outside of that.
Well, that's kind of what the message was today, even from Pete Mackanin to his ball club. Ryan Braun's having a solid year despite the fact he's battled some neck problems and some back problems recently. And he hits that one off the hands out towards shallow left. Here comes Cody Asche, and he makes the catch. And the side is retired. Excellent piece of pitching by Jerad Eickhoff. A pretty easy top of the first. We're on to the bottom of the first. Chase Anderson. Here's their lineup brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Herrera, Blanco, and Paredes, followed by Michael Franco, Tommy Joseph hitting 5th, and Cody Asche back in the lineup batting 6th. The bottom third includes Galvis, Rupp, and Jared Eichhoff. Just a couple days ago that Cameron Rupp was batting cleanup for the ball club, and now he's batting 8th. He'll face Chase Anderson, making his 11th start. He's a fastball changeup kind of guy, Ben, and a lot of times he's all or nothing.
He is, and he struggled on the road this year for the Brew Crew. Take a look at the scouting report for him. He's, I said, 0-4 with a 5.33 ERA in the road games. He's sitting about 91 miles an hour. Loves his changeup. He does throw a curve and a cutter as well.
Odubel Herrera takes outside. Odubel 3 for 10 in the series against the Nationals. His average at .319. Excellent career numbers in a year and a half against the Brewers. 1 ball, 1 strike to Odubel. Looked like he was taken all the way. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Angel McCaziby from Jeffersonville, Pennsylvania. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, and Angel will win $100. I don't think I pronounced that correctly.
Good luck, Angel.
3-1. Somewhere in South Jersey, Greg Murphy is raising his hand to you. You said that. Murph is off tonight. His daughter Quinn is graduating from Gloucester Catholic High School.
Congratulations, Quinn.
Yep. She's getting set to go on to the University of South Carolina. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Odubel. Fastball swung on and missed. Boy, he had a swing like that last night. I don't know if he was fooled or what. Well, he had to be fooled. But it wasn't a good swing, and there's 1 away.
Just a fastball away, and I don't know what Odubel's really looking for here. I think he just got caught in the middle of, is it a strike, is it not a strike? I might as well just go ahead and swing to try and make sure, but that is not a very good at bat right there by Odubel.
So 1 away. Here's Andres Blanco. Blanco 2 for 5 against the Nationals. His 2 hits came yesterday. Pete said there's a chance Andres will play again tomorrow. He said, I just have to find some kind of offense. And he feels like Andres is a good weapon. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. He was talking about Blanco playing second base tonight for Cesar Hernandez. He said, listen, I need more offense. He said he, meaning Cesar, is not adding to the offense by what he's been doing recently. There's a line drive caught by Chris Carter at first. 2 outs here in the first.
A quick bat to get to that fastball in right there. 0-2 count. Be ready for anything, but that was a quick bat by Andres. Now, would Pete, by having Andres in the game, yes, he loses his best man off the bench, but right now he's swinging it better than anybody in the starting lineup. So I like the move there to put Andres in there. I think you'll see Cesar back in there relatively soon.
Here's Jimmy Paredes, who had an at-bat yesterday and struck out, making his first start, and he bunts and misses. And it's 0-1. Third baseman Aaron Hill was playing way back and over. And now he moves over a little bit more. On the inside corner, it's a pitcher's pitch right there. It's 0-2.
Not where Lucroy was set up, but I still think it's a good call by Jim Reynolds.
Oh-2 pitch to Paredes. Off the hands, out of play. Paredes last year with the Orioles hit .275 and had 10 home runs. This year, he found his way up to the big leagues with the Blue Jays for a short period of time. In the minor leagues, he had .309 on 3 different teams. And he's out in front of an off-speed pitch, and the side is retired. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Chase Anderson. We've got an inning in the books. We've got about 20 hot dogs ready to go downstairs. Dollar Dog Night here at the ballpark. Something new. Breakfast on Broad, weekdays from 6 until 8 on TCN, the Comcast network. I can't believe they got Murph up that early, to be honest with you. He's had a long day.
He's had a long day.
At some point during the Gloucester Catholic graduation ceremony, somebody better elbow him because he might nod off.
He'll be fine.
Jonathan Lucroy will lead it off. Lucroy hitting .299 with 9 home runs and 28 RBIs. Brewers come in 5 games under 500 at 24-29. They made a ton of deals in the offseason. They traded 9 of their regulars. They got 16 players back after finishing 82-80 last year. It was a surprise that Craig Counsell and the Brewers didn't lose this guy, Jonathan Lucroy. But they may lose him at some point this year. That one's hit sharply past Freddie Galvis. A pitch that was left up in the zone, and Lucroy is now hitting 6 straight, and he's hitting over .480 here at Citizens Bank Park.
When you have a team's number, you just have a presence and a calmness about you in the batter's box. Now, you know, Tom, I wasn't a great offensive player, but there were a couple teams that I put up some good numbers with. You just have a different sense about yourself in the box, and it seems like you always get pitches to hit just like that one to Jonathan Lucroy.
Lucroy's at first, and Chris Carter, always a presence, tied for 4th in the National League in home runs with 13. And he takes a fastball in the inside corner. It's 0-1. Carter last year was with the Astros. He hit under 200 a year ago.
Not a guy that's going to hit for a high average, but he has some easy pop. Doesn't even look like he's swinging half the time. The ball really jumps off his bat. You can see he's a big man.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Now there's the slider we were talking about. He hasn't thrown his curveball yet. In fact, you may not see the curveball the first time through the order.
If he keeps throwing sliders like that one.
Well, it's risky because you don't want to lose the feel to it, but he's so good with it that I don't think they feel like he will lose the feel for it. No balls and 2 strikes to Carter. Another slider hit foul. Upstairs, and it's 1-2. 89 miles an hour on that fastball.
Phillies with some early work today. Had all the pitchers out working on their pickoff moves to first base, and they had the Phillies base stealers out there as well working on getting good jumps.
Off the end of the bat again, tried another slider, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball and a call, strike 3. Great location on that pitch. You throw a few of those sliders to the outer edge, and then you surprise them with a little heater.
These guys obviously have scouting reports, but you can't tell me that Carter was not looking for that big hook somewhere throughout. He had some awkward swings there, and I really think he was sitting on that and or the slider, but Jared able to dot him down and away. That's a good sign right there.
Now Kirk Nieuwenhuis. Nieuwenhuis is one of 3 players that's rotating out in center field for the Brewers. He's hitting .222. 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, but he is 2 for his last 30. No balls, 1 strike to Nieuwenhuis. Off the end of the bat foul, and now it's 0-2. Line drive down the right field line. That's in for a base hit. Lucroy's already around second base. Paredes trying to get to it. Lucroy is being waved from third. Here's the throw to the plate by Blanco. It's a strike, and Lucroy is out at home plate.
Outstanding play there. See Paredes get to it out in right field and had to make sure he bought it and carry him like he did last night on a ball hit down the line, but he gets to it, and the relay throw is really what makes it right here. Andres throws a strike, and I mean a strike, to Cameron Rupp at home plate to get Lucroy.
Lucroy had took a terrible route around third.
Awful, and he just slowed up, and he almost came to a complete stop. He almost fell down.
The Brewers are looking at it to see if the home plate rule was violated. Right there, the throw takes Cam into it, but it's long before the runner gets there, so everything looked pretty clean.
He had the ball way before it, so he catches the ball and then takes it away.
So 2 away, and now Aaron Hill is the batter with a runner at third, and Hill takes a breaking ball outside, 1-0.
Was a nice relay, and hopefully the Phillies can get out of this. But Eickhoff needs to make that 0-2 pitch a lot better than it was.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. 45th start for Aaron Hill, who was acquired from the Arizona Diamondbacks this past offseason, along with Chase Anderson. The Brewers gave up Gene Segura, who's having a heck of a year for the Diamondbacks. Not too much else is going right for the D-backs. There's a line drive out toward left field. Ashley's going back. It's going to be over his head and 1 hop off the wall. A run will score. It's an RBI double for Aaron Hill. And it's 1-0 Brewers. 21st RBI of the season for Hill.
It's been hot lately. He goes down and gets this one, drives it out to left field. Really nothing Cody Ashley could do to get there. Target's supposed to be down and away. It is down, but it's more middle of the plate. Hill drives it out to left center off the warning track and then off the wall.
Now that'll bring Ramon Flores up. Flores 211 with a home run and 9 runs batted in. He had 1 hit in the series against the Cardinals. Ground ball foul. No balls and 1 strike. Curveball, and it's 0-2. I know that Aaron Hill is not Ty Cobb, but I think you had to be a little more careful with him with a runner at third. And Ramon Flores, a .211 hitter, and the pitcher who has no hits this year, coming up behind him. I know it's only the 2nd inning, but for the 6th time in the last 7 games, the Phillies fall behind. 0-2 pitch. Ground ball right side. Backhanded by Tommy Joseph. He bobbles it, flips to Eickhoff, who hangs onto the bag. And the side is retired. 1 run does score. 3 hits overall for the Brewers. They leave 1. We'll head to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Milwaukee. The Brewers turn back the clock to the 70s. 70s retro print for all fans. Compliments of Mitchell and Ness. Ballpark characters. Always popular retro themed player headshots on Fanavision. Phillies and Brewers will wear the retro 1976 uniforms. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Our jackets arrived today. They must have made jackets smaller back in the 70s.
Sleeves are a little short.
And warmer, I might add. You thought Ben Davis sweat now. Holy cow. You throw this jacket down and use it as a rug. Maikel Franco will lead it off. Franco 1 for 8 in the series against the Nationals. Overall hitting .247 with 8 home runs and 28 runs batted in. It takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. So what about Maikel Franco? Pete Mackanin said today, so we're counting on him, and he knows that. You have to overcome the pressure of being the guy. You have to calm yourself down. He's been told not to try to do too much. It's kind of what your key was, Ben, to kind of control what you can control. And don't add any other pressure to it.
Exactly right. One guy's not going to be able to carry this team offensively. Trust yourself, stay within yourself, use the whole field. I know he has it within himself.
Taking all the way in the 3-0. It's 3-1. Tommy Joseph on deck. That one's lined back towards shortstop. A base hit for Maikel Franco. Hustling all the way. He takes a big turn around first. That was a good aggressive swing, but a controlled swing by Maikel Franco.
You're right. It was controlled. It was quick. It was aggressive, but still under control. Watch his head down on the baseball right there. That's something we haven't really seen. See that head coming off the baseball at times, but this is a good, really good swing. See, that'll get him going, keep him short to the baseball.
Tommy Joseph is the batter, 244 with 3 homers and 5 runs batted in. Tommy was 0 for 6 in the series against the Nationals. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Cubs defeated the Dodgers 7-2. Urias in his second major league start suffered the loss. Kyle Hendricks, who we saw the other day, he was excellent again. 8 innings, 3 hits, and 2 earned runs. Cubs have now won 8 of 9, and they're 6-1 on this 10-game homestands. Chicago finds itself 8 games up in the National League Central, ahead of the Pirates, who are currently underway against the Marlins. And they're running away with the Central.
Sure are. Good ball club. There's no way around it.
I think they're the best ball club in the National League. I mean, I know it's not going out on the ledge, but they are. I don't even know if it's close. One pitch coming to Tommy Joseph. And Franco draws another throw.
I think individual talent wise, division wise, I think that NL Central has the most talent per player. In fact, guys that they're going to be in the All-Star game every year.
So I got to miss an off-speed pitch that was up in the zone. It's 1-2.
Obviously, there's good players in all the divisions, but they are loaded in that Central.
Another changeup hit out toward left field. Ryan Braun curls toward the corner to make the catch. And back to first base goes Franco.
Soft the end a little bit. He was out in front, but he stayed through it enough where he didn't hook it. That's a good sign there. The bat was on the right plane through the ball. This has to be a good feeling for Cody Ash to get
Absolutely.
back.
Cody was saying the other day that he was ready to see another stadium after his rehab with Lehigh Valley. He combined to hit 169 in 4 home runs and 8 RBIs during the rehab. He was on the disabled list since the beginning of spring training with a strained oblique. Out in front of an off-speed pitch, and it's 0-1. Last year he had 245 with 12 home runs. He said it wasn't the kind of year he expected. He felt better as the year went on. He said in September he felt much better. Gets that one out toward left. Ryan Braun over toward the line. And he makes the catch for the second out. 2 away, and that'll bring Freddie Galvis to the plate. Cody said all the right things today, even when he was at the ballpark. He said, I know I still have to earn my spot in the lineup and on this team. And Pete Mackanin said nothing has been promised to Cody Asche. He said there is no silver platter that I have been presented with. Pete did say that Cody was strictly going to be playing left field. There was no right field in his future.
Right.
So Tyler Goodell gets some chances out in right field as Galvis takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Just a bit low, and it's 2-1 to Galvis.
Lucroy wanted it. You see him hold the glove there for a minute. A lot of catchers will do that. That was a good call, though, down and away.
Jim Reynolds behind the plate. Manny Gonzalez at first. C.B. Buckner's at second, and Fielding Colbreth is around at third. And Freddie lines this one foul. He broke his back. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Galvis. Happy Camper. front of that off-speed pitch, and it rolls foul. The count remains 2-2. I was reading something today. Reuben Frank from CSNPhilly.com mentioned this. Of the 53 starting pitchers the Phillies have faced this year, Chase Anderson's the only one that they have scored 4 runs or more against. The only starting pitcher. Wow. How about that for a nugget?
Rube can come up with some stats.
I heard him talking about it on the radio the other day. And he was kind of working it through in his head, and that's amazing, though. That's how the offense has struggled this year.
It is amazing.
Outside, 3-2. So Franco will be off and running on this pitch. We're already past the first inning, but the other stat that I think is staggering is the fact the Phillies have only scored 9 first-inning runs this year. Runner goes. Pitch is pulled into foul territory off the right field line. Scooter Gennett will make the catch. And that is a pretty good changeup, even though it was up in the zone. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left for the Phillies. They trail at 1-0 as we go to the 3rd. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Ben, who is the Brewers franchise leader in pinch hits and pinch at bats? Pinch hits and pitch at bats. The answer will be revealed in just a little bit. That's an easy one.
Sometimes I'm a bit tardy in getting the production cavity by keys to the game.
Yep.
Today I was way ahead of schedule. I think they'd be
and that's why they gave you an easy question?
Yeah.
It's not easy?
I don't think it is.
There's Chase Anderson to lead it off in the 3rd. Anderson takes a fastball for strike 1. He's 0 for 15 this year. Curveball, and he struck him out. 3 pitches, 1 away. Jonathan Villar is coming up. Oh, the Aaron Nola t-shirt is the giveaway for Saturday. It's for fans 14 and under. It's compliments of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Local 98. I saw those t-shirts today. They were down in the clubhouse. The players got them for the first time. Pretty sharp. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Those are the colors of Aaron Nola's college team, the LSU Tigers.
I think the club should come out for batting practice. Everyone dressed in that t-shirt.
Wearing the Aaron Nola t-shirt. Jonathan Villar grounded out his first time up. Villar, the former Phillies prospect, they sent him to the Astros with Jay Happ in the Roy Oswalt trade. And he's had himself a whale of a year.
When we saw him in Milwaukee, he was okay, but he's really turned it on since.
Hitting .303 coming in with 2 homers and 19 RBIs. He's tops in the National League in stolen bases. He has 19 steals. He also has a .409 on base percentage. That was a changeup that he pulls foul, and it remains 1-2.
We love you, Batman.
VR and Jay Happ, both guys that were in that trade, both having pretty good years.
Jay Happ was recently rewarded with a 3-year contract, very lucrative deal.
Look out, Scooter Gennett.
Watch out, Scooter.
Way to dance out of the way of that ball. That one's pulled into right field, a base hit. Paredes bobbles it for a moment, but VR holds up at first. All right, so now the challenge is for Cameron Rupp, because you figure VR is going to be off and running at some point in Scooter Gennett's at bat.
As long as Eickhoff gets the ball to him in a reasonable amount of time, I like Cameron's arm with anybody's. Quick to his feet. He's got a very, very strong arm. Good carry on the ball.
Scooter. You're friends with Doug Funny, right?
He was leaning, and he just got back ahead of the tag by Tommy Joseph. That is a healthy lead that he's taken. He is past the cutout with his lead foot.
You very rarely will see someone out that far.
Phillies are looking at it right now to see if Tommy Joseph got him. His hand was in. I mean, that's an aggressive lead. That is the lead of a base steal. I mean, it's not often that you see somebody's lead foot get out toward that cutout.
Feels like he can get back, though.
And this time, oh, he did get back. He got back with his foot. They surprised him. Tommy Joseph is wandering around that first base bag. Larry Bowa is already on the horn. Look how awkward this was. I think he's out. Well, it's tough to tell whether the heel of that foot was on the bag or not. It looked like Tommy did have him on the leg, though. I have to say the last couple of replays that we've had have not been conclusive enough to overturn, even though we thought that they should have gone the other way. They are not going to challenge this one.
Did his spike. I think his spike gets back on the sidewall of the bag. I don't think he gets him yet.
Good move, Pete.
Well,
Boy, I think he got him.
I think his pant did move.
Yeah. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Eickhoff showing some quick feet.
You have to have as a righty. Obviously, you don't have that deception that a lefty would have.
Little low, and it's 2-1. Not a bad spot with that offering.
No, and the velocity was good too for a slide step. They're still at 93 miles an hour. Sometimes if you go to that slide step, you'll lose a little bit of velocity.
Off speed pitch, and he hits it foul toward the Hall of Fame club. Changeup was at 86 miles an hour. By my count, he's only thrown 2 curveballs so far tonight.
One was that base hit to VR.
That's what we talked about, that they, that they may change up their approach at least the first couple of times through. Last time out, he used his curveball 28% of the time and the slider 20% of the time. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Scooter Gennett. Swing and a miss. He got him with a fastball. 92 on that heater. 3 strikeouts for Eickhoff. And Ryan Braun is due up. Well, the Brewers have the lead. Our cold hard fact brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. The Brewers have won 9 of their last 10 here in Philadelphia, including a 7-game winning streak. During the 10-game streak, the Brewers have outscored the Phillies 70-44. 4-game sweep last year. It was odd because the Phillies had really handled the Brewers, and the Central for that matter, up until about a year ago. This is one of the reasons why the Brewers have been so good here. Ryan Braun, who has 20 home runs overall against the Phillies, he has 10 of those 20 here at Citizens Bank Park. Like you said, there's just some ballparks and some teams you just feel comfortable against. There goes the runner. The pitch is taken outside. The throw to second base is in time to get VR. What a throw by Cameron Rupp. VR wants it challenged almost immediately. They're going to hold the defense. If this stands, it was a fantastic throw and a quick tag by Andres Blanco.
Cameron Rupp's the one who tagged him. The throw was right on the money. He lets that ball take him back. Short stride.
Looks like he's out.
And a howitzer to second base.
And the Brewers will not challenge it. 2-4 on the putout. Caught stealing. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. 1-0 Brewers. Hi, your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com. By Jefferson. Call 800-JEF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery's new instant game, $100,000 home makeover. Players must be 18 or over. Please play responsibly. Uh-oh, the Fanatic has Greg Farnese's camera. We are in trouble. 1-0 Brewers as we go to the bottom of the third. All right, so he had a really good lead, VR did, and a good jump.
He did have a good lead and really didn't shorten up a whole lot from that time that Jared almost got him, but Cameron Rupp with just an amazing throw. That's just, there's no other throw that gets him.
Well, Rupp will lead it off. I mean, as a catcher, you know who the base stealers are, I would imagine.
Yes.
And you take pride in that you're able to win that battle.
You do. And like I said, Cameron Rupp's arm, I'd put it up against anybody's.
Off-speed pitch, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pure arm strength. Folks at home always hear me talk about getting carry on the baseball. Oh,
that's going to be dizzy.
You create backspin when you hit. It's the same thing when you throw.
Foul ball, 1-2.
That's what enables the ball to stay true and through to whoever you're throwing it to.
Look at Greg Farnese's never looked more relaxed. Look at that. Look how relaxed he looks. His camera has been taken over. It is all over the place. So give Greg a chance to play words with friends. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I got you. We got you, Fanatic. Yeah.
Nothing he can't do.
Well, within reason, yes. Rupp tried to hold up. Did he go around? Yes, he did, says the first base umpire. That was more the body than anything else, and the bat just followed suit. 3rd strikeout for Chase Anderson, and 1 away.
He tries to hold up, but he just can't. Kind of caught in between whether he's going to swing at it or not, and ball had late run to it. Couldn't hold his bat up.
Eichhoff fouls it off to the right and out of play. He may have broken his bat on that one. It's a shame. That was a good piece of lumber, too.
He gets the best lumber for, no offense, but for her pitcher.
Watch the Fanatic with this foul ball. He is shooting in the bottom. What he's shooting in the bottom left corner. Somewhere in there was a white dot. I don't know if Greg Farnese's ever drawn that much of a crowd. As Eichhoff loops it to right. And Flores will make the catch for the 2nd out. 2 outs. And now the top of the order, Odubel Herrera's coming up. All right, the Fanatic is he's gonna mark Jared Eichhoff. He stayed with them.
A little better.
Yeah. Still would be kind of dizzying to watch that.
Smooth as stucco, Fanatic.
Odubel Herrera leads it off. Shows bunt, takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
I've seen more 2 out, nobody on attempts to bunt over the last couple days.
Changeup. Boy, his changeup. Would you agree with this, Ben? I mean, it's not a changeup that rolls down. I mean, it's basically the same height as his fastball.
Yes. He's banking on you getting fooled by the speed, not so much the movement or location.
Now that was a good spot right there with that changeup.
Yes.
1 and 2.
Not a whole lot you can do with that one.
But you brought up a good point before. So he is technically a 4-pitch pitcher, but he's only thrown 2 pitches.
Yes.
So you can.
So you have a 50% chance.
Yeah, you can eliminate the other 2. I mean, this at bat alone, he's thrown 2 fastballs and 2 changeups.
Like Scherzer last night, throws 5 pitches and threw them all throughout the course of his 8 innings. So it's not like you could eliminate anyone at any time.
Out toward left field. Ryan Braun floats back, and a step from the track makes the catch, and the side is retired. Nothing across for the Phillies. We've played our first 3. The Fanatic has decided he's had enough with the camera. Jet printers deliver unmatched quality, and their Jet Intelligent toner cartridges print up to 1/3 more pages. Get yours from who? But WB Mason today and experience the difference. Nobody beats WB on HP. 3 in the books. We'll go to the top of the 4th inning. Phillies have 1 hit. The Brewers have 4. Ryan Braun will be the batter. It'll be Braun, Lucroy, and Chris Carter. How about among active hitters? The top 2 hitters in the game against the Phillies right now in the game, Braun and Lucroy. They're the top 2 active hitters against the Phillies.
Braun at 387 coming into today's game. Lucroy at 342.
0-1 pitch. Inside 1-1. And that's let me correct that. That's at Citizens Bank Park. The top 2 hitters at Citizens Bank Park against the Phils. But still, I mean, they're both well over 300 overall. There's the 1-1 to Braun. Foul tip. It's 1-2. Braun came into this game 2nd in the league in hitting at 352. He also is a .413 hitter with runners in scoring position. Curveball hit toward 3rd. Flagged down by Maikel Franco.
Good hands. Nice hands there. That ball could have done one of 2 things. Bounce up like it did, or it could have stayed down. But it does pop up for him. You see him work from the ground up. Gets to it, throws a strike over to Tommy Joseph at first base. How soft his hands were there. Just very smooth.
One ball, no strikes to Lucroy. He singled his first time up. Outside, and it's 2-0. Taking all the way, it's 3-1. Lucroy is signed through next year. Next year there's a team option. So if a team does acquire his services, they have to pay him the rest of his $4 million this year. And then if they choose to, they pick up the option for $5.2 million next year. I would think that there's a team out there. I mean, he'll be 31 by the time his contract is over with.
It's a steal.
With the way the numbers he's put up during the last 3 years, I would agree with you.
283 with 75 in his career. That's
last year was a little less, but he only played 103 games. He was out with an injury for a good part of the year. 3-2 pitch to Lucroy. Over to shortstop on a couple of hops. Freddie Galvis throws him out. Two away. Chris Carter's coming up.
nice to see Jared there. Unfortunately gets into a 3-0 count, but battles back, makes very good quality pitches down in the zone. He gets a ground ball out of it.
Chris Carter takes a little low. Not a bad spot at 91 miles per hour. He went around, according to Jim Reynolds. The ball bounced, what would you say, about 3 feet in front of the plate?
2.5.
Curveball hit a mile high to deep left center field. Herrera's going back, and it is gone. Home run number 14 for Chris Carter, and he's given the Brewers a 2-0 lead here in the 4th inning.
It's an easy pop that I talked about during his first at bat. I'd like to see a pitch better than that. 1-2. See Jared get burned on a count that's in his favor, but this is the pitch before. You know, he swings at that real short one, wants it down there again, but just hangs it. And Carter does not miss it. It's a very easy swing. He lets his size hit that ball out of the ballpark there.
Saw what Cameron Rupp was set up. Rupp wanted that one down in the dirt. Neuenhuis doubled his last time up and then came around to score the first run for the Brewers. It's a Brewers team that is 5 under 500, but they're 6-3 in their last 9, and they finished above the 500 mark in the month of May. They were 15-14. 1 ball and 1 strike to Neuenhuis.
Back-to-back change-ups there. The first one missed, came back. Better location on the second.
Fly ball left field. That's fairly well hit. Ashe going back, has room right at the fence. And he makes the catch, and the side is retired. But a run on the home run by Chris Carter. So the Brewers now have a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com to find your RAV4 today. Toyota, let's go places. Let's go Phils. View from Harry the K's, the second level of Harry the K's. Pretty happening tonight. Nice crowd for this Thursday night. This Hatfield Dollar Dog Night, the final one of the year. By the way, you know, we usually find ourselves in the stands once a year.
Yes.
That could be the spot right under the canopy at Harry the K's up on the second level. Andres Blanco lined out his first time up, and he takes low, 1-0. One ball and one strike. Phillies offense runs per game is last in the National League at 3.13. I think we all know that. During this 6-game losing streak, they've been averaging 1.8 runs per game.
It's hard to believe.
Hitting about .210 during that streak. Blanco a little frustrated with himself there. He didn't wait back on that changeup. Then he comes back with that high fastball. 4 strikeouts for Chase Anderson. Well, through the first 47 games, the Phillies were 26-21. Since this losing streak began, they're 0-6. Their batting average is at 195. I said close to 210. It's closer to 200. And averaging just under 2 runs per game. And one of the big keys is the ERA is up too.
Yes, it is.
Compared to the way it was.
We knew the home runs would kind of stay the same. We knew that going into the season that the ball club wasn't going to hit a ton of home runs. But that the average in the runs per game is just glaring.
0-2 to Paredes. Selling some dogs tonight. A lot of singles in that hand. Outside, 1-2.
To Anderson's credit thus far, he has thrown the ball well.
Absolutely.
Fastball command is there, and obviously that changeup is there.
Swing and a miss. He gets Paredes back-to-back strikeouts. That's 5 strikeouts for Anderson. His season high is 6, so he's already at 5.
Goes to the curveball here, which we haven't seen a whole lot of tonight. I believe that was just the third. He did throw a couple to Andres Blanco. The curveball coming into tonight's ball game only thrown at 14.8% of the time.
Franco singled his first time up. And that ball was drilled deep to left field. It is gone. Solo home run for Maikel Franco. And the Phillies are on the board. It's now a 2-1 ball game.
What a seed to left field.
And he's 2 for 2, and that's a big deal.
To change up there, and it runs right back over the inside part of the plate. And Maikel puts another good, nice, easy swing on it. Just pitch location here. Lucroy wants it down and away. You see it run right back over the plate. It's elevated. Maikel stays through it. Heads up in left field.
And that makes a winner out of Angel Makasib of Jeffersonville, Pennsylvania. Angels won $100 in the McDonald's home run jackpot.
Way to go, Angel.
It's nice to give a little cash out. Second home run since the 11th of May. 2 balls and no strikes to Tommy Joseph. Ball's hit sharply through the hole left side, a base hit. So Joseph's aboard. Back-to-back hits now for the Phillies, and it brings up Cody Ashley.
His quick at bat. Swing right there by Tommy. Talked to him at length today. You and I both did, Tom, down in the dugout before batting practice began, and he had a lot of nice complimentary things to say about Scherzer last night. Haven't seen Chase Anderson, a different customer on the mound tonight.
Yeah, we were speculating that Scherzer was difficult to pick up, his fastball, and Tommy said all of a sudden it was at his ear and it was on you.
Said he hit the ball very well.
Cody Ashley flied out to left at his first at bat this season, with Tommy Joseph leading off first. Cody takes strike one, a changeup, and it's 0-1. Cody 5 for 25 down at Lehigh Valley with 2 home runs. He played 6 games. Swing and a miss, 0-2. He's probably still a few at-bats short of what he would normally have during spring training. But his clock ran out, basically. His rehab clock, so he had to go somewhere. Phillies were thirsty for some offense. Up high, Tommy Joseph with a delayed steal, and he is out. But the side is retired. The Phillies do get on the board with a solo home run by Maikel Franco. Franco is 9th home run of the year. He was right on that one, just as he was right on the single in his first at bat. We've completed our first 4. We'll go to the 5th inning. It's the Brewers 2 and the Phillies 1. The #1 live streaming sports service delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Aaron Hill leads it off, and he takes ball 1. Hill doubled homer run his first time up. He spins that one off the edge of the bat. Smothered by Eickhoff with his bare hand. One away. That was a good pitch.
Was a good pitch. I'm sure that ball has a big smiley face in it. From the end of the bat there. They're tricky ones if you're a pitcher, because that thing's coming out there. It's spinning hard. Make sure you bury your hand into the ground with it and pick it up cleanly.
Speaking of cleanly, it'd be nice to get a clean inning here if you're Jerad Eickhoff.
Yes.
Flores takes just off the outside corner, a fastball, so 1-0. Flores grounded out his first time up. He's missed it basically the same spot with these first 3 pitches. Flores, a guy who's hitting 209. Franco will give that a look. It'll be back a few rows.
And you'd love to get Flores here because pitchers on deck. Chase Anderson now 0 for 16 this season after his first at bat.
Swing and a miss. He got him. He threw a high slider. And that's 4 strikeouts for Eickhoff. And 2 outs now in the 5th inning.
Twice now he's had to battle back from 3-0 counts, but it's nice to see him be able to do that. You know, it's not ideal getting that pitch count up, but the end result is the bottom line. Bottom line's a strikeout in this case.
Chase Anderson struck out his first time up. That pitch a little low. Andres Blanco takes the 2-hopper. That's a nice, easy inning for Jerad Eickhoff. It took just 10 pitches to get through the 5th. We played 4.5 at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies are within 1. We'll be back with Cody Asheet right after this. Minor League report. Get updated on what happened with Reading today. They defeated Portland 15-9. Dylan Cousins was 4 for 6 with 2 doubles and 4 runs scored. He is now hitting .272 with 14 home runs and 44 RBIs. He has 30 extra base hits. Jake Fox had 2 home runs, the veteran, with 3 RBIs and 4 runs scored. How about the Reading Fightins were 8 for 15 with runners in scoring position. How about having 15 opportunities with runners in scoring position?
How about Dylan Cousins, period.
Dylan Cousins has played 35 games in right field and 13 games in left field so far. Just 22 years old. In AAA, Lehigh Valley and Charlotte are in the 6th inning. It's a 1-1 game. Brock Stassi has hit a home run. He's starting to hit the baseball a little bit more. In fact, Dave Brunson said Stassi's been a trooper because Darren Ruff's down there now. Tommy Joseph was playing first base. Stassi hasn't been able to play all the time. Cody takes a fastball at the knees. No balls, 1 strike. Cody was up when Tommy Joseph tried the delayed steal. It's the 2nd time he's tried that on this homestand. Although maybe somebody could have missed a sign on that. I don't know if it was Tommy or Cody.
With the lefty up, I saw when Lucroy came off the field, he pointed at the dugout saying, thanks for the heads up, because with a lefty up, you get blocked out from that runner running from first to second base. And you could hear their bench screaming, runner! Jason Kendall got me really, really good one day in San Diego. Lefty up, he was on first base. I caught the pitch, just went to my knee, throw it back. I think they
Into foul territory down the right field line and out of play.
I think our pitcher caught the ball as he was tiptoeing in second base. No throw, nothing. I hadn't a clue. It was textbook.
Ben, you got to play every game as if it's your last one. You got to play with intensity. You got to be on your toes. He figured out a pattern and he took advantage of it.
He got me.
Roller out to shortstop. VR gobbles it up. What a way. Freddie Galvis is coming up tomorrow on Philly Sports Talk. Here from Eagles head coach Doug Peterson as the Birds wrap up their OTAs. Watch Philly Sports Talk presented by Comcast Business tomorrow at 5 right here on CSN. Well, before the game today, look at Benny Logan. He looked big. Trey Burton taking some hacks. Doug Peterson got in there as well. Ricky Metallico, I heard him say today, he said it looks like a softball swing from Doug Peterson. Did you see Benny Logan up here in the press box?
I did.
Did you try to take him down?
No.
He was bigger than you were.
Yes. Much bigger.
Larry Anderson was trying to play a game with him over in the radio booth, and I thought, man, you better not screw this up because he's going to beat you up. 2-0 to Freddie Galvis. Galvis popped out to second base his first time up. The bat looks like a toothpick in his
have
head.
a bigger bat?
I'm not going to make fun of him. Up the third base line, it'll roll foul, and Galvis will have to come back. It's 2-2.
How big he is.
Yeah, he's a big feller.
Put it in play, good things happen, Tom. Thing is, you look at these guys and you're like, okay, he's a big dude. But they can run. That's the thing that blows me away at times.
Who was it that was switch hitting? Was it Dornbos that was switch hitting today? I think he was switch hitting.
Was he?
Yeah. He looked a little more fluid right-handed than left-handed. Pete got a chance to talk to Doug Peterson today. There's the 2-2 pitch coming to Freddie Galvis. And he floats it out to center field. And a diving catch by Nieuwenhuis. Now there are 2 outs.
I really thought that ball was going to get down.
It just hung up there for so long.
Sure did. Curveball down in the zone, and Nieuwenhuis comes in and makes the play. Good play. Concentrate. Talk about watching it all the way into your glove. Freddie would have liked to have that one.
Oh, he's going to need a new helmet.
Yeah.
You know who used to go through a lot of helmets? Remember Trot Nixon?
Oh, yeah.
Outfielder for the Red Sox. He used to go through one helmet after another. Cameron Rupp is the hitter.
Those helmets make a lot of outs for you.
They really do. They say that Chris Johnson, now of the Marlins, when he was with the Braves, he would go through helmets left and right.
Gorgeous night here in South Philadelphia.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Rupp. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Ichiro has a couple more hits. Miami leads Pittsburgh 3-0. He now has 2,965 career hits.
Michi's on fire.
Yeah, so much for going back to Seattle next year to collect his 3,000th hit.
The pace he's going, he might have it by the break.
2-2 pitch to Rupp. Check swing. By the way, Matt, who's watching from Canada, just sent me a text message, said Alex Rios broke 23 helmets in 2007.
23.
It's a lot of outs the helmet made.
Wow. And they're hard to break. Got away with one there.
You kind of heard the grunt from Rupp.
Yeah.
Nice play by that Dave Dittinger, picking it up when it stopped. Good boy, Dave. Come on, Dave. Come on, Dave. Had a boy with the backhand. Those big paws.
Well done. Those Dittingers are very talented.
Yes, they are. And Cameron Rupp is hit by that breaking ball. After all that.
After all that, you throw a 3-2 hook.
He flicked that away like it's a fly, though. And Jared Eickhoff is now the batter.
This might not turn into anything with Jared. Not saying anything against his hitting skills, but you see when you have competitive at bats. I mean, Cameron was down in the count, had a check swing down the first base side, had a couple really good hacks in the midst there, but stayed alive. Prolonged the at bat. Eventually, Chase Anderson made a mistake. He's on first base. You clear the pitcher. That's a good quality at bat.
9-pitch at bat. Eickhoff swings through the first fastball. It's 0-1. Ground ball to shortstop. VR is up with it. And the side is retired. 6-3 on the putout. No runs, no hits. One man left. And a whole lot of dollar dogs. Get your dollar dogs. It's the last one of the year. We'll head to the 6th in a one-run game. Cross Philly of the week is continuing to solidify a spot in the back of the Phillies bullpen. Hector came out firing on all cylinders in April, and it continued through the month of May. He allowed just 4 earned runs in his first 25 appearances. He is among the NL relief leaders in strikeouts, and he was holding righties to an .043 average coming into the homestand. The 26-year-old Neris is having fun. He's sitting down hitters, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Phillies hope that they get to the point where they can end this 6-game losing streak, get to Neris and Gomez with the lead like they did the other night against the Nationals. Now, it didn't work out, but usually in a close ball game, those two guys need to be in order for the Phillies to pick up a victory. Jerad Eickhoff so far has allowed 2 runs over 5 innings. He's allowed 5 hits as well. And he's finishing up his warm-up tosses. He just made the final out. And he will face the top of the order. It'll be VR, Scooter Gennett, and Ryan Braun. Well, we mentioned it before. Murphy's not with us tonight because his daughter Quinn has graduated from Gloucester Catholic High School. A world of possibilities awaits Quinn as she heads off to the University of South Carolina. Congratulations to Quinn. She's done an amazing job. Her academics are through the roof at Gloucester Catholic. She also won an awful lot of letters, varsity letters.
Yes.
Swimming, lacrosse, and I think field hockey too. I think field hockey.
These Murphys are very talented.
Yes, they are.
Nice kids, all of them.
Here's Jonathan VR. And VR takes the ball. It's 1-0. I think that may have crossed up Cameron Rupp. Murph will be back with us tomorrow. Wait till he sees what he has to wear on Retro Night. Since he's not here today, he has no choice but to just wear what we tell him. Broken back ground ball. Joseph flips underhand to Jerad Eickhoff. And one away. Scooter Gennett's coming up.
A lot of broken bats in this game, huh?
Yeah. That's good because then you have some stuff to put into your bonfire.
I mean, the 25 Christmas trees aren't good enough?
Nope. They're going to burn eventually. So 22% of his pitches have been sliders and only 10% curves. And the one curve that he threw, Chris Carter hit out of the ballpark.
Yes. But the fastball command has been better.
Absolutely. Gennett hits one back toward the middle, a base hit right off the end of the bat. Yeah, that's the 6th hit for the Brewers. Xfinity fireworks shows are coming up on Friday, July 1st and Saturday, July 2nd when the Phillies take on the Kansas City Royals. All part of a 3-game series against the Royals. Defending world champions. Make plans now. Order your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Ryan Braun is 0 for 2. He's flied out and grounded out.
Ryan Braun is a guy that's never altered his swing whatsoever since he came into the league. Hasn't altered it at all.
Inside 2-0.
Same stance, same everything.
Throw over to first base, and Jeanette is back ahead of the tag. Balls and 1 strike to Braun. That one hit off the front of his foot. A foul ball, and it's now 2-2. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Xander Bogaerts' 2-run singles extended his hitting streak to 26 consecutive games. Ubaldo Jimenez had been dealing in that ball game, but the Red Sox have taken a 6-4 lead. Now that game is moved to the top of the 6th inning. Excuse me, 5-4 lead. Top of the 6th inning. How about having 2 guys that have hitting streaks in the high 20s? I mean, this close to each other.
They sure have an explosive offense.
Even with all the bad signings that they've had, too. Hanley Ramirez and Pablo Sandoval. Popped him up, shallow right.
Good pitch.
Andres Blanco puts it away, and there are 2 outs.
Slider's been good for him this evening.
Now, if you were calling his games, and Rupp's done a great job calling his games, when would you start throwing the curveball, or would you at all at this point?
He's given up, just the 2 runs. He has thrown a couple that have gotten hit for hits. So right now it seems like he has a little bit better feel for that slider. One of the reporters asked Pete today, like, what are you looking for out of Jared today? He said, well, I want him to use all his pitches. He goes, I could say all the normal things I want out of my starting pitchers, but work down, throw strikes, throw 100. Everyone got a kick out of that.
He just throws that stuff in there.
He just throws it in there. But he said he really would. That was the first thing out of his mouth was, I want to see him throw all his pitches. And he's doing it this evening.
0-1 pitch coming to Jonathan Lucroy. Fastball inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ground ball back toward the middle, and that's going to leak into center field. A base hit. Jeanette stops at second. Now that's the second hit of the night for Jonathan Lucroy. And now the Brewers have runners on first and second, 2 men down, and Chris Carter is the hitter. Now this is what he did in the 4th inning. He was behind in this at bat.
Yeah, check swing on a breaking ball a couple feet in front of home plate the pitch before, then gets a hanger from Jerad Eickhoff and hits it out to left center. Put the Brew Crew up 2-0 at the time.
Bob McClure is out to the mound. He's going to get a little extra time on this conversation because the shot clock did not start right away. No curveball there.
Nope.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Brewers have runners on first and second. Scooter Gennett's at second base, and Jonathan Lucroy is over at first. Fastball. Well, you want that as a pitcher. May have been a little low. He's definitely got that home run in his head.
You also have to realize that this is a guy that if you make your pitches,
he'll strike out with the best of them.
Exactly.
And ball 4, and that'll load the bases up. Nieuwenhuis will come up. Nieuwenhuis does have a double tonight. He's 1 for 2. 84 pitches for Jerad Eickhoff. Bob McClure did go to the phone. They're going to get somebody up in the bullpen. David Hernandez is going to start to warm up. Jeanette's over at third. Lucroy's at second, and Carter's at first. And Nieuwenhuis flied out to left field his last time up, doubled his first time, scored the first run. Outside, 1-0. Well, he's lost his command here. Just trying to get it back.
You'll see David Hernandez get going quickly. Eighteen pitches this inning.
Fly ball left center field. Cody Asche and Odubel Herrera in the alleyway. It's Asche who makes the call, and the inning is over. Bases loaded. Jam is diverted. No runs, 2 hits, 3 men left. On to the bottom of the 6th. It's 2-1. Brewers on top. brought to you by WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. By Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. Odubel Herrera is ready to lead things off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. All right, so third time through. She's still awake. Phillies offense has managed only 3 hits. Third time through. How would you approach Chase Anderson now? I mean, you've already had 2 at-bats. You've seen fastball changeup. How would you approach it?
Well, I think you just have to, first of all, again, stay within yourself, but look for the pitch that you can do some damage with. Use the whole field. I'm still picking out either a fastball or a changeup. I'm sitting on one or the other.
Because he's only mixed in a few breaking
and
pitches.
He's thrown, I think, just as many changeups as he has. I don't have the exact number, but just as many changeups as he has fastballs. It's not like he's throwing 97. So if you sit changeup and get fastball, say you wear someone out in the dugout, the opposing team's dugout, that's fine. But you have to pick out one or the other.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. He just threw his 85th pitch, and Will Smith, just off the disabled list, is warming up in the bullpen. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's that changeup, tapped back towards shortstop. VR is up with it, and he throws high, and Odubel Herrera is safe at first. And all Pete Mackanin has to do to Odubel is say that's why you need to run all the time, because his speed forced the action and maybe forced that high throw.
And it's also why you need to put balls in play. His first at bat, 3-2 count, throws a fastball right by him and just swung when the ball's in his glove. This, at least he puts it in play, puts the pressure on the defense. Not a very pretty swing, but hustling out of the box 100%. Causes VR to make an errant throw to first base.
And now Andres Blanco is the batter. Blanco is 0 for 2. He's lined out and he is struck out. Aaron Hill, the third baseman's thinking maybe he'll bunt. He's in on the grass. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning in a 1-run game. And Andres is not bunting, and his backswing gets a hold of Jonathan Lucroy, and it's 0-1.
Get the backswing. Point. Oh, knocked his mask sideways.
Off the end of the bat, over to third. Aaron Hill's got it, and he'll throw to first in time to get Andres Blanco. Odubel went into second base awkwardly, it looks.
He thought there was going to be a play at second base the way he went in. Lucroy did make his way down towards third base, but I think if Odubel keeps running here.
Yeah, right there. That was the awkward part of it.
Yeah. I think if Odubel keeps running, he's going to outrun whoever to third base.
Jimmy Paredes is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. 0 for 3 since yesterday. when he made his debut. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, an update from down in Miami. Wei-Yin Chen is a no-hitter through 6 innings against the Pirates. It's 3-0 Miami. Marlins are hot right now. They're 3 over 500.
I like that ball club.
I still think they need a little help in the pitching department, but
yeah.
their offense is, they got a lot of offense. Just throwing up change-ups in different spots. Franco's on deck. Off the glove of Lucroy and all the way back to the screen. And over to third base goes Odubel.
That could be huge.
I think he was thinking change up there.
Yeah, because this is just very awkward for Jonathan Lucroy. He was just expecting obviously a slower pitch, not able to get his glove up in time.
It's been scored a pass ball. It's the 3rd pass ball of the year for Lucroy. And now Odubel's at third base with 1 out. The infield is back for the Brewers, except for Aaron Hill, the third baseman. Got him. 3 strikeouts tonight for Paredes. And there are 2 outs, and Maikel Franco is the batter. 6 strikeouts for Chase Anderson.
He has seen a steady diet of change-ups. That is in a good location.
Well, how about this? They're going to go to the bullpen here. This is shocking. 95 pitches for Chase Anderson.
Maikel's had his number tonight.
Yeah, that's true. They're going to make a double switch. So Broxton comes in to play center field. Will Smith was warming up in the bullpen. And that will be it for Chase Anderson. A pitching change, a double switch for the Brewers. Up by 1. Have the potential tying run over at third base with 2 men down, and Craig Counsell's made a pitching change. Our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. All right, so this is what's going on around baseball. Just a few tidbits. It includes Hunter Pence going on the disabled list. That seems to happen a lot. They want to get him healthy by the All-Star break. The Dodgers, meanwhile, won't be disciplined by Major League Baseball for using lasers to help their defensive strategy up at Citi Field. It's a real weird story where they were trying to find out where they should place their defenders against particular hitters, and they were using lasers to help them out. And the International Olympic Committee has recommended adding baseball and softball, which is a travesty that it's not in the Olympic Games. And hopefully they will add it and it will be back in the Summer Games. Well, here's Will Smith, who was added to the roster yesterday off the disabled list. He's been on the DL since the first week in April. Keon Broxton is coming to play center field. And Maikel Franco takes a strike. It's 0-1. Smith was on the DL. He had a sprained LCL, which he sprained tying his shoes.
Yep.
How? I don't know. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Franco is 2 for 2. He's singled. He's also homered. Trying to check his swing. Did he go? No. Says Matty Gonzalez. Here is the home run in the 4th inning.
It's a changeup that just comes back right into Maikel's swing plane. He's playing pepper with the fans in left field. That ball was smoked. The ball he hit his first at bat up the middle for a single was smoked as well.
I'd like to see it play pepper again.
Huh.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. And he hits it the opposite way. And Ramon Flores will track it down, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. There was one Brewers error and one man left in scoring position. We played 6. It's 2-1. Brewers on top. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. Not a whole lot of offense again for the Phils. They've managed just 1 run on 3 hits. Brewers haven't managed a whole lot either, but they do have a home run from Chris Carter that has given them a 2-1 lead as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Jared Eichhoff still in there. 6 strong innings, 2 earned runs, and 7 hits. And he will face Aaron Hill to start things off. Hill is 1 for 2. And a curveball that hangs high. It's 1-0. ball that stays up. It's 2-1.
I know the Phillies have struggled scoring runs, but I was really impressed by Chase Anderson tonight, especially for a guy who now has a 4.68 ERA. I thought he threw the ball very well.
The liner out to right field. Paredes will glide under it. I'm with you. And he basically did it with 2 pitches. Yeah, he did mix in his other pitches, but he relied on just 2 pitches.
Yeah. Oh, what you can do when you locate. Still wouldn't have taken him out there.
I'm with you. Here's Ramon Flores, former Yankee product. The Yankees sent him to Seattle for Dustin Ackley, and the Brewers acquired him from Seattle. One ball, no strikes to Flores, and 1-1. Breaking ball. Tommy Joseph's got it. Flips to Eichhoff, who is in the right spot at the right time. And there are 2 outs, and Broxton will be the batter. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. All right, Ben, here we go. Who is the Brewers franchise leader in pinch hits and pinch at bats? Now, I got to tell everybody that Ben was trying to figure this one out without any help, but I saw him get up and leave like 3 times, and he comes back, says, I can't figure out what the answer is. Or who the answer is.
I'm just going to go with Craig Counsell.
And I said, why don't you just look at the Brewers dugout? Craig Counsell is correct. 41 career pinch hits and 167 at bats. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Now tell me, when you were leaving,
yes,
to go out, were you going to ask somebody outside? Was there
No. I had to get your Diet Coke for you.
Now, this was long before that. Going inside to ask Bill Schroeder in the Brewers TV booth?
No.
Fellow catcher?
No. Just trying to put 2 and 2 together, Tom.
And that got you to Craig Counsell.
That's right.
Broxton takes inside, and it's 1-2. Craig Counsell, 85 and 105 as a manager, played in the big leagues for 16 years. Despite the oddest stance you'll ever see. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Broxton. Pulls it foul.
Played for a handful of teams.
Well, he's right at 100 pitches. He's thrown 13 in this inning. Back toward the middle, off the foot of Eichhoff, who goes to the ground, and Broxton is aboard. Jared comes up limping. Scott Sheridan is immediately out onto the field, the Phillies athletic trainer, to take a look. Ball was hit hard. It went up in the air pretty high, too.
I don't think I've ever seen a ball go that high in the air after going off a pitcher. Hopefully Jared is okay here, but this ball was hit very hard by Broxton. The slider stays on it.
So
right off the ankle.
Yeah.
So it hit off the grass. Most likely picked up a little speed there.
Well, that's going to be it for Jared Eichhoff. He'll exit. You can can see he's walking with a noticeable limp. Pitching change for the Phils with 2 outs. David Hernandez is coming in. We'll be back after this. Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday is the Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Plan now for the only visit of the Cubs this year. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets. Cubs won again today, 7-2 over the Dodgers. We mentioned that before. David Hernandez has finished with his warm-up tosses. This is his 25th ball game. And facing Jonathan Villar with a runner at first. Broxton does have some good wheels. There he goes. Pitches high. Throw to second base is not in time.
Another good throw there by Cameron Rupp.
That ball was caught awkwardly by Freddie Galvis. I'm not sure what happened, but his hand is in pain right now.
I don't know if Freddie got handcuffed or Broxton came in with his spikes and may have cleated him, but Cameron stays behind that very well. Makes another very strong throw. I don't know, maybe it just
hit the palm of that hand.
Yeah, I think it just maybe stung him. He got there in a hurry, though. I'd give Broxton that. That 2-0 pitch right by him. VR said that ball's up. Jim Reynolds said no, it's not. I'll let you know.
To the right side. Blanco is up with it. And the side is retired. 4-3 on the putout. No runs. 1 hit. 1 man left in scoring position. Time to stretch here in Philadelphia. 1. Time now for our Hyundai defensive play of the game. All right, Ben, we'll choose a catching play.
A hose here by Cameron Rupp to throw out the very speedy VR. Andres Blanco with a very good tag, quick tag. Ron does the old fake bunt. Fish ain't biting. Heck of a play there by Cameron Rupp, and that is your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
See Cameron talking to his buddy Cody Ashe. Ashe's about to get pitch hit for by Tyler Goodell, who's out in the on-deck circle. Cameron is hoping he gets a chance to bat in this inning. Tommy Joseph will lead it off against Will Smith. Both starters are out of the ball game. Both starters are the pitcher of record of this ball game. And Tommy Joseph hits it sharply on one hop off the glove of VR. And that'll be the second hit of the night for Tommy Joseph.
To start. First pitch, Hunting. Just off the glove. That would have been a close play at first base. Now, I've watched Tommy run. He runs pretty darn good for a big guy.
Tommy Joseph, who has inquired about getting a photo with Ben Davis for the family before the end of this homestand as Tyler Goodell takes a strike. It was all the rage when Tommy Joseph was brought up that Tommy and Ben resemble each other. There's a resemblance between Tommy Joseph and Ben Davis. Ben does not think so, but you did not stop Tommy Joseph today from calling you uncle. So you're going to get a photo with him to send to the fan?
If it makes your day, Tom, then
Not
sure.
my day. I'm
Put it
making
right-
his day.
Put it right in the family tree.
Yeah, it's not my day.
He's got a nice head of hair on him. I'll give him that.
1 ball, 1 strike to Goodell. And Goodell fouls it
swing.
back. I hadn't brought it up because I know that you know, people on the internet have talked about it. You said I do not look like Tommy Joseph.
I could see a little resemblance every now and again. But
Tommy agrees.
I wouldn't wish that on him.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And Goodell takes low. It's 2-2.
At least you didn't say great uncle.
Goodell pulls it foul. He got right out in front of that one. Dave, if you're going to make one play, you got to. If you're going to make the hard play, you got to make the easy play, my man.
They all count.
There we go. Oh, he's playing off the carom.
So close.
Outside 3-2.
Keep it moving here, Tyler. Swing.
Staying alive.
A couple nice rips at it. This at bat.
This will be the 9th pitch of this at bat against Tyler Goodell. Three balls, 2 strikes. Joseph short lead off first. 3 called. Will Smith gets Tyler Goodell down looking. 10 pitch at bat, 5 foul balls. And then Smith is able to dot this one.
He does win the battle. That's just a really good pitch by Will Smith. Going to find him any closer than that.
Overhead shows you that was a tad inside, but the umpire's looking right down at that. Freddie Galvis pulls that one up the third base line. It's a fair ball. They get the lead runner at second. It's the home plate umpire's call, and Jim Reynolds signaled fair. And Aaron Hill obliged by flipping it over to second base. A fielder's choice, 2 outs. And here's Cameron Rupp.
Heads up play by Aaron Hill. Very smooth transition to make this throw to second base.
It's our camera down the line. That's
Definitely
a fair ball.
Definitely fair. But smooth play by Aaron Hill. In his glove and quick release.
Cesar Hernandez is out on deck. Hector Neris warming up in the bullpen. A 2-1 game, another close game.
Cameron's been hot against these lefties. 5 for his last 11. Good cut at it there. He's had a couple of those tonight. And for whatever reason, he's not able to barrel them up. Their swings are good. Just missing by a hair.
Popped him up. Over near first base. And now Scooter Gennett somehow is able to recover and make the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We've played 7, on to the 8th. A little Greek dancing when we come back. To you by Toyota. For great summer deals, visit your local Toyota dealer or buy Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Buy McDonald's. Jumpstart your morning with a hot or iced McCafe coffee. Now starting at just $1. And buy your local Ford stores. Can the Fanatic keep up, Ben? What do you think?
He can keep up.
He looks awfully
We've
tired.
seen him operate before.
Tyler Goodell stays in the ball game to play left field. Came on the pinch hit for Cody Ashe. Here's Scooter Gennett to lead it off. He's 1 for 3. And he hits it foul down the left field line. Another one fouled out. The ball's 2 strikes to Scooter Gennett. It'll be Gennett, Ryan Braun, Jonathan Lucroy here in the top of the 8th inning. Amazing, though. Another tight game. I guess it should have come as a surprise. The Phillies have scored 3 runs or less in each of the last 6 games. And in 33 of the 53 games they've played. So scoring just 1 here tonight, it shouldn't come as a surprise.
No.
And yet, I think we're surprised. 1-2 pitch. That one is split through the hole. A base hit for Gennett. That's his 2nd one of the evening. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Ryan Braun will be the hitter. 9 hits overall for the Brewers. Thornburg warming up in the bullpen for the Brewers.
Will Smith, the only lefty out of the Brewers pen.
Yeah, they have a shortened bench. That one's hit through the gap in the right center field, and Paredes won't be able to get it. They better hurry up. Gennett can run. He's to 3rd, and now he's being held. And that'll put runners on 2nd and 3rd with nobody out, and Jonathan Lucroy, the hitter. Well, I think you got to walk Lucroy here.
I would agree. Braun's so good at using the whole field. I think you just saw Pete say have to
walk him. And then I think you bring in Hector Neris to try to get a strikeout or 3. Lucroy already has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. So the bases are now loaded. And Chris Carter is coming up. Pete Buchanan coming up the stairs. So he's going to go make a double switch. It'll be Hector Neris that's coming in. So Neris will come in with the bases loaded. And we'll see who else Pete puts into the ball game. Cesar Hernandez is probably coming in. So we've got a pitching change here at the top of the 8th inning. Tough spot for Hector. out for our WB Mason delivery of the game. The guy coming up right now, he got a curveball and did not miss it.
No, he did not. A hanger here by Jerad Eickhoff. Really one of the only mistakes that Jared made the entire evening. Where Chris Carter does not miss it. An easy swing. That is your WB Mason delivery of the game.
Eickhoff was excellent tonight. 6
Very
and
good.
2/3, 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts.
Very good.
He left after a ball, took a 1-hopper off his foot.
It's going to be a little sore for him tomorrow. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Phillies have made a double switch. As we mentioned, Cesar Hernandez comes into play second base. Moving from second base to shortstop is Andres Blanco. And Hector Neris is on. Neris is second among relief pitchers in strikeouts with 38 in the National League. He's got the bases loaded. Jeanette at third, Braun at second, and Lucroy at first, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Last time out was when he had a 2-1 lead against the Nationals, and he just didn't have command of his split. Actually, he didn't have command of anything, his split or his fastball. And it's upstairs, 2-0.
Harder.
94-mile-an-hour fastball. Might as well challenge him.
Yeah. In that situation, you have to. 2-0, bases juiced.
Alex Presley's out of the on-deck circle. Pitcher's spot is up after Carter.
Can't sustain the power all year, Carter.
Carter checked his swing. I'm not sure where that pitch was. I guess it was a tad inside.
Yeah.
3 balls and 1 strike.
Take a look here. It's off the plate.
Yeah, close to the pitch that Will Smith got against Tyler Goodell. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 3-2. You got to be leery of the split, of course. It's a strikeout pitch, but he throws 93, 94.
Yeah, and if it's located, I'd come back with a heater.
Harder.
And a liner foul.
He did.
That is not a ball you want to go after if you're a fan.
No.
It's one of those you just got to be content to get out of the way.
Little guy's happy. Roll it up here.
Little guy's happy. Swing and a miss. He got him. He got him to swing through that split. 1 away with the bases loaded. And Presley now will be the pinch hitter.
This is a really, really nice splitter. See that tumbling action? Ball kind of knuckling on the way in. That's just the way that Cameron Rupp and Chooch describe it at times.
Infield will remain in. Presley will pinch hit. And Bob McClure out to the mound to give a little bit of a scouting report on Alex Presley, the former Pittsburgh Pirate.
Bob out there basically saying Neris is going to stick with what is good for him. But if you do decide to throw a first pitch fastball, is Prezi apt to swing early in counts? And does he like the ball in? Does he like the ball away? So how to attack with the fastball? And he's going to throw a split regardless.
And he does attack with that splitter, and it's 0-1. Two. Jeanette leads off third, Braun's off second, Lucroy off first. No balls and 2 strikes. Neris is set, and the pitch. Ground ball right side. Hernandez has it. He's coming home, and they've got the force at home plate. Turned out to be a heck of a decision by Cesar Hernandez, because he wasn't going to turn 2, and he got the lead runner 2 away.
Excellent play by Cesar. And if he had just gone to first base, yes, he would have conceded the run, but able to eliminate Scooter Gennett at home plate. This is a very good play here, for the simple fact that he has all his momentum going towards first base. He has to right himself and make a good, strong throw to Cameron Rupp at home plate. Well done.
How about the presence of mind, though, to do it? You know, you talk about thinking ahead and where you're going to throw the ball when it's hit to you. The presence of mind to be able to do it.
Yes.
So now they play the infield back. 2 outs. Bases remain loaded. Aaron Hill, a tough hitter, is at the plate. And time is called. Just a bit low.
I'm not saying that he needs to right now. Do you think Hector could develop some type of slider or cutter?
I think he has it. I just don't think he throws it. But yeah, you're right. Just to maybe have a third pitch. Ground ball toward third, a foul ball. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Over the hill.
One and 2 with the bases loaded. Neris is set, so is Aaron Hill. And a strike 3 called. Aaron Hill is saying it hit his bat. Cameron Rupp steps on the plate, and how about the job of Hector Neris? He comes in with nobody out and the bases loaded, and gets the next 3 hitters to keep this in a 1-run ball game.
Let's get some runs here.
For the Brewers in the inning, no runs, 2 hits, and 3 men left. Aaron Hill is saying that ball hit his bat. The pitch was a strike. Boy, it did look like it may have made contact with his bat. It went in and out of the glove of Cameron Rupp. It's hard to tell. Honestly, I can't tell. It looked like it misdirected a little bit, but it's hard to tell.
It does look like the ball went straight down. Not straight down, but there definitely was a change in direction of that ball.
All right, so the umpires are conferring right now. Craig Counsell is told to go back. This is not reviewable, but they can talk to each other about it. CB Buckner's shaking his head no, and they're saying it's a strikeout. So the Brewers will leave them loaded here in the top of the 8th inning. It's a 2-1 ball game. That's right, Ben. Let's get some runs if you're the Phils. GMC Precision plays of the game.
Always nice to have a guy to come in and strike a few folks out. That's exactly what Hector Neris did. Gets the splitter to Chris Carter there. Nice play by Cesar Hernandez on Presley. And then gets the strikeout on Aaron Hill to get out of that bases loaded, nobody out jam. And that is your GMC Precision plays of the game.
So Cesar Hernandez will lead things off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And he'll face Tyler Thornburg, excuse me. He's 2-1, an ERA of 3.22. Breaking ball, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Thornburg has not been scored upon in 20 of his 23 outings. Delivers a fastball at 95, and now it's 1-2. Phillies have just 4 hits tonight. They left a runner over at third base back in the 6th inning. And Cesar, did he go around? Yes, he did, says third base umpire Fielding Colbreth. And there's 1 out here in the 8th inning. How about the Phillies? If this score holds up, they're going to have to go up against the back end of the Brewers bullpen here. They've scored 1 or 0 runs 12 times this year. This would be the 13th time. Neris certainly did his job. This would be the 13th time if they don't score. Big rip, and it's 0-1 to Odubel Herrera. Two. chopper back to shortstop. VR is up with it. And this time he's able to throw out Odubel Herrera. And there are 2 outs now in the 8th inning. A reminder that coming up on Wednesday for all kindergarten through 5th grade students, join Ryan Howard and his teammates as they act out scenes from a book in the Little Rhino series during the Little Rhino read-along on Wednesday. Proceeds benefit the Phillies MLB Urban Youth Academy through the Ryan Howard Big Peace Foundation. Go to phillies.com/readalong for more information.
Come on, Jimmy. You got this, Jimmy.
Why not?
He went hunting on that one.
He sure did.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. Fastball's got some life on it. See Genmar Gomez warming up in the bullpen. And Blanco strikes out. Last 2 pitches were probably ball 2 and ball 3. But the Phillies go down in order here in the 8th. We head to the 9th. It's still a 2-1 ball game. Compliments of Sports for All. Those are the socks that you will see. It's all part of this retro weekend here at Citizens Bank Park. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Well, we go to the top of the 9th inning. Genmar Gomez will be the new pitcher for the Phillies. Gomez will try to keep this at a 1-run game. The Phillies will face the closer for the Brewers, Jared Jeffress, in the bottom of the 9th inning if this remains a save situation. Gomez 2-1, an ERA of 2.33. They got to get him some work. They certainly haven't been giving him any chances to pick up saves.
What a job by Hector Neris. That's
awesome
just
job. Bone Flores shows bunt, takes ball 1, 1-0. Outside, 2-0. and it's 2-1. You know, the foul ball that ended, or the strikeout that ended the 8th inning, you know, leads to the discussion about replay. They have so many things that they are using for replay. You know, will they advance it to include everything? I mean, it's hard to include plays down the line inside the first and third base bag. I mean, before the first and third base bag.
But a play like that on Aaron Hill, I don't know how long that would have taken.
It may have been deemed inconclusive. Who knows? But I think it is something that they should, if they're going to use replay. I know it's adding to the list, but why not? As long as, you know, they talked, they had a meeting. The length of that meeting, they could have looked at it and decided.
Exactly. Great point.
2-2 pitch to Flores. Off the end of the bat, left side. Blanco's got it, throws on the run, and it's not in time. I think the only way that play could have been made in favor of the Phillies is if Franco somehow cut it off, and I don't think it was hit too far to his left, I guess, for him to cut it off.
And it kept moving towards the shortstop spot there, and Andres did everything he could. This ball just keeps going more towards shortstop. Andres does a good job of getting around the baseball, but not a whole lot he can do with Flores' speed.
Well, now Broxton is probably up there to bunt with Flores at first. Franco is coming in at third. He did not square. Bunts foul off the first base line. He bunts at it and draws it back. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Phillies half of the 9th inning. It'll be Paredes, Franco, and Joseph. So important to keep this at a 1-run game.
Jemar, a guy that typically is, you know, I wouldn't say he works fast by any means, but a guy that gets it and gets a sign and goes, seems to be a little bit more deliberate tonight.
And he bunts at it, misses, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's not really buying into the whole let's sacrifice here. Well, you're right. He's really deliberate tonight. gotten to the point now where Dave needs assistance when it comes to those foul balls. It's a shame it's gotten to that point, huh, Ben?
Yeah, it's a long night.
One ball, 2 strikes to Broxton. And a fastball and a call. Strike 3. One away. He couldn't get the butt down. And now VR is coming up.
No comeback two-seamer. I think it's outside. Comes right back over the outside corner for strike 3. Nice pitch.
Jonathan VR is 1 for 4. He has grounded out 3 times, singled back in the 3rd. And a pitch outside, 1-0. Off the glove of Rupp. That could hurt.
He's had a few come out of his mitt tonight.
That's going to be scored a pass ball. So, second pass ball of the year for Cam.
He's going to head back out to see what sign they want to use, but I mean that's a ball that, you know, he'll be the first one to tell you it needs to be caught.
Balls and no strikes to Jonathan VR. This is the pace that Genmar was at last year at the beginning of his tenure with the Phillies.
He did quicken it up last year.
Yeah,
considerably.
Three balls, 2 strikes, runner at second. Fly ball right center field. Odubel's on the run, and he's not going to get there. That one is gone. A 2-run home run, and it makes this a 4-1 ball game. Jonathan VR with his 3rd home run of the year.
Really good at bat by VR and wins the battle. That ball just came off, and it really had some good carry to it. A two-seamer just didn't have a whole lot of run to it. Well, ball goes in Phillies dugout. I mean bullpen. Man.
Now Scooter Gennett. Gennett is 2 for 4.
Denmar has been very, very good this year, obviously, for the Phillies, but hasn't seen, like you said, a lot of work lately, and I think he's a guy that definitely does better the more he throws.
Inside, it's 3-0. They did appeal to Fielding Colbert, who says they didn't go around. 3 balls and no strikes. Yeah, these command issues for him. This is very unlike.
It really is.
Inside, ball 4. "20 pitches for Gomez, and now Ryan Braun will be the batter."
So if you're going to get Andrew Bailey up in the bullpen.
And now Bob McClure is going out to the mound as Bailey starts to warm up. More to buy time, I would think, to get Bailey loosened up out there. All right, so the conversation is over, and now the battle will ensue. It's Ryan Braun who will be the hitter. It'll be Braun, then Lucroy. 4 runs now on 12 hits for the Brewers. Braun doubled his last time up, and he was left over third with Neris pitching out of that jam. Gomez delivers inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
This might be his last hitter, for the simple fact that he is the Phillies closer. So if you're going to need him tomorrow night, you want him throwing too many pitches tonight. Already at 21.
Broke his bat, spinner out towards second. Cesar is going to have 1 play. That's to first base. And there are now 2 outs. Up to second base goes Scooter Gennett. 4-3 on the putout. And with 2 away, it'll bring Jonathan Lucroy to the plate. Pieces of the bat all around home plate.
Shrapnel.
Ball, 1 strike to Lucroy. Lucroy tonight singled in his first at bat, grounded out to shortstop, singled in the 6th, and was intentionally walked his last time in the 8th inning. He's got Gennett over at second base. This is still a save situation for Jeffress, who's busy warming up out in the bullpen for the Brewers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outside, 2-1. line drive foul.
I think that's got to be very difficult for a closer on the opposite side. Oh, he's having a tough go.
He tried. He really did.
But if you're a closer, you have your normal routine. You get out there, you get loose, you do what you can. But when inning is dragged out like this one, it kind of would throw your routine off, I would think.
You mean the guy that's warming up right now, or the closer that's in the game right now?
The guy warming Jeffress right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think most closers are salivating at the fact that they have a 3-run lead.
Well, yeah.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Lucroy.
Genmar upset with himself. You see the velocity overthrowing there at 95.
Lucroy last year missed a lot of time because of a concussion and because of a broken toe. Three balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. He got him. And the inning is finally over. But the Brewers tack on 2 big insurance runs. Jonathan Villar blasted his 3rd home run of the year. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 4-1 Brewers on top of the Phillies. Analysis of tonight's Phils Brewers series opener only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies post-game live. All right, so here we go. The Phillies down by 3. They've scored just the 1 run tonight, and they'll take on Jared Jeffress, the closer for the Brewers. Jeffress 1-1 with an ERA of 2.55. This will be his 26th ball game. This guy's got a lot of movement in the way the ball comes out of his hand. When he was with the Blue Jays, his minor league pitching coach Rick Franklin changed his arm slot. He also changed his changeup to a split change.
Have a little bit better feel for it, but he is a hard thrower. Good movement, typical closer stuff.
So he's going to face Jimmy Paredes to start things off here. Paredes has had a rough night at the plate. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Got to get a couple base runners on to bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Phillies have scored 1 run tonight. It is their 7th consecutive game where they've scored 3 runs or less. It's their 34th game out of 54 this year where they've scored 3 runs or less. Let's see if they can change that here. First pitch is a fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. And that's slapped down the left field line. That's in for a base hit. And Paredes is on his way to second base, and he'll get there standing. It's a leadoff double. Well, it's a nice way to start here in the 9th inning.
Very nice way to start. I don't know how he gets this pitch. If I got a 1-0 count, this is not the ball that I want to take a pass at, but he lines it down the left field line. Look where this ball ends up. That's well off the plate. Good plate coverage. Slaps it down the left field line for a pair.
Now Maikel Franco's the batter. So Villar's home run, we knew it was big, but it's even bigger now. Because instead of the tying run being at second base, the potential tying run is in the on-deck circle. And Franco is up. Franco is 2 for 3. He homered earlier. And a fastball in there at 97. It's 0-1.
The thing that's frustrating about the bottom of the 8th is Hector Neris comes in, and really it's a momentum changer. Bases loaded,
Sure
nobody
is.
out, and then the Phillies go down 1-2-3 with a pair of strikeouts in the bottom of the 8th. Now then the momentum gets shifted again back towards the Brewers side.
No balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Waved wildly at that breaking ball. And 1 out here in the 9th inning.
Let's go, Tom Joe.
And Tommy Joseph is coming up. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
The slider here that Maikel does not pick up the rotation on. Thing, you have a guy that throws as hard as Jeffress does, 97, 98. You want to get it going, but you still have to make sure you pick up rotation.
Ryan Howard is available to pinch hit tonight if the Phils need him. One ball, no strikes to Joseph. Swing and a miss, 1-1, 98 on that fastball. Ground ball towards shortstop. Villar is up with it. And the throw takes Carter off the bag, but he's able to make the tag. And the Phillies are down to their final out.
Yeah, big piece.
Had a couple errant throws tonight. Did have the one error back in the 6th inning. No Duble's ball.
Well, tomorrow is Retro Night. We're on NBC 10. Retro Night here at Citizens Bank Park. So Tyler Goodell, who struck out looking his last time up after a long at bat. 0-1.
Got a good arm. And you look at him, he's not physically imposing. You look at it like a Aroldis Chapman, who's 6'4", tall and lanky. I mean, Jeffress isn't a huge guy by any means, but what a quick arm.
6 foot, 206 pounds. Low, 1-1. Ball comes out of his hand quick, too. Ryan Howard is out on deck to pinch hit. The pitcher spot is due up next. Phillies down to their final strike here tonight.
Come on, Tyler, just get on base. Big piece got it.
Breaking ball and a call. Strike three. The Phillies have lost 7 consecutive games. They've also lost 8 straight now to the Milwaukee Brewers here at Citizens Bank Park, as the Brewers win it by a final of 4-1. Brewers bullpen scoreless over 3 1/3. We thought it was crazy when Will Smith came in with 2 outs in the 6th inning, but Smith got the final out in that 6th, pitched the scoreless 7th, and he and the rest of his mates were able to close this one out as the Brewers take game 1 of this 4-game series. 4-1 the final score here at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies scored 1 run or no runs for the 13th time this year. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.